All right, everybody, welcome back. This is probably going to be the final video in this playlist on how to build this kit. I went ahead and took the liberty of starting this assembly file. I'm going to show you how to get it started, then I'm going to just do a few little assemblies here toward the end to put it all together and show you how it goes together. But what I like to do is to have all my parts in a folder, and then I'm going to make a new folder for the kit that I'm making. So I will probably end up moving all these parts into, one's for plates, one's for, you know, some are studs, some are bearings. So different parts I'll probably put in different folders to organize these to make it easier to find. So I'm not scanning through hundreds of parts. I can just click on a couple folders and then find. Each folder has about 20 parts instead of one big folder with hundreds of parts. But here's what we do. Start a new folder with the kit you're doing. So, the second one I'm going to make, so I'm going to make all three of these in the creator kit. So I'll go ahead and flip over to the second plane here. And I'm going to say, let's start anew. I'm going to do a hybrid design. You could do an assembly design, but I think hybrid is probably the way to go. And then I'm going to save. And we're going to call this 5762:2. And then that's the file I'm in. And I'm going to go back to my Legos parts. And the first thing I need is a 2x3. So I'm going to scroll down to my plate 2x3. I right click and say insert into current design. And I'm actually going to put it the same way that it's showing in the kit, which is right here. And say OK. And then that's going to be my anchored part. And then my next one's a plate 1x2, so I'm going to then insert that into current design. And this one doesn't matter where you put it, so usually I just raise it up just like that. And now, one thing that I want to add to this is I want to add a parameter that's called partial height, and that's going to be 0.125 times 3. I don't have scale or anything, but partial height is great because most of the blocks that I have are flats. So when I'm attaching this one wants it to rotate it and then set it on these two studs right here. So I'm going to use the joint command. I'm typically going to be using the rigid constraint. And then I just click on this circle right here of this stud and this circle of this stud. I can do my rotation here. So I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. And then I'm going to use my z-axis and say negative partial. And that's going to pull it up because see the arrow's pointed down. Now you could do partial height and then hit the flip button. No, flip doesn't work. I take that back. Flip like actually flips it. But we just do a negative partial height and it bumps it up to the spot. And that's step one. Step two is putting a white piece, a 2x2 right behind it. So we're going to insert this into the current design. And I'm just going to move it. And now you have some options. I'm actually going to create another parameter that's called Lego base. And that's going to be 0.315 times 3. And now this one's going to butt right up against here. But remember, we have air gaps that we have to account for. So you can either butt it up against this wall and then just add 2 air gaps. So 2 times kerf, you might have to put a kerf there. Or sometimes the easier way is just joint this to this and now come to this direction and put in Lego base. And now it's going to push it 1 Lego base unit away and it will create that gap for you between those parts. That's the easiest way to do it. And then once you do a layer or two, you can go in and you can go to appearance and then you can grab some of your colors. Go into paint, glossy, and I'm going to grab some white. I'm going to grab, there's no red, so I'm going to, or no orange, so I'm going to duplicate this one and edit it. And I'm going to make my own orange color. So that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to change this name to orange. And then hit done. And now I have an orange color that I can now just click and drag onto the parts as I make them. That's all you do. That's how you get started. Just keep building as you go. Everything should fit if you just kind of keep to those two principles. And that's all I've done for this biplane, is gone through that and started adding parts. Now you can make little sub-assemblies, and then you can make and import the sub-assembly into this. So that's an option. So if you're working it with a team, so you've got your kit that you're in, I'm going to start a new one called Hybrid Design, and we will save this as a lamp sub assembly. And this one, let's see if I can go to the instructions here. So this has this round plate put on top of another round plate in the instructions. So let's see if I can find the instructions here. Go. So you can see there's the lamp. So right here, that's subassembly. You got the yellow lamp on top of the silver one, and you're going to use it twice. So if you're working as a team, this is a great little way for you to say, okay, let's take one of these rounds and insert it into the current design, and we'll say okay, and then we'll take another round and insert it into the current design and raise it up. And now we could just raise it up, what we need, but I'm going to do what I've just told you. I'm going to join these two together, and then I'm going to click on this and do negative partial, which is 0.375. And then I can go into appearance, and so if you go into plastic, sometimes you can find like transparent plastic, and you can find like a yellow orange one, or you can kind of make your own, I think. So if you duplicate it and edit, kind of make that more yellowish if you want to go more yellow on that. See what that is. That looks pretty good. And that silver is probably good. If you want to go shinier, you could go shinier, but we'll save this. So now we have that lamp assembly, and now I can come in here and I can then insert that lamp assembly into my system. And now how am I going to attach it? Well, same kind of thing. I'm going to take this circle right here, really any circle, and then I'm going to place it on this one down here, and then this is where I need to flip. So I'm going to flip it, then I'm going to move it this way by partial, and I want to go negative partial. And that did not work, so let's try that again. It's going to be this last one in our stuff. It's not the last one. Okay. Into how do I get to it? It's this right here. What's that one called? So there should be a relationships one under there with joints. You should be able to edit this. Why is it not letting me edit? I have no idea why it's not letting me edit this. Interesting. So I'm going to Control Z. See if I can back out. Control Z. There we go, undo the joint. Let's try it one more time. So we're going to join. Just going to click on this surface there. Click on this surface here. To flip it, we want to move it this way by negative partial. There we go. And then we can do the same thing. We can insert another lamp assembly into the system. Say OK. Joint. This to this. To flip. We're going to go this way by negative partial. Have it. Do a couple more. Again, I'm going to go grab my bearing. This one here. Insert that into our design. And then this sits on the wing here. So this one is going to sit onto this peg right there. So going to joint here to here. Rotate it. 180. And we're going to bring it up negative partial. There's that one. Insert another one. I think you're getting the idea. So this one right here is going to go under this peg right there. So we get joint on there. Click on here. Rotate it if we need to. We're going to move this one. So this one's going to be positive partial because the arrows the way that they did on that one. See how that everything lines up. Got gaps between everything. Look at that. Looks awesome. The way that that attaches in there. Got air gaps where they should be. All right, let's do another one. So let's do the propeller now. So we're going to bring in full assembly prop. And let's kind of move it out here. Say OK. Now on this one, we have some options. Let's see what it gives us here. So it doesn't give us great options on this because it's a cylinder, but it's because we cut this little notch out, it doesn't give us, you know, a great option. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of use the midpoint of this face right here and put it against this face right here. And then you can see how we've got some gap here. So I can then take this and I can move it. See, that's too much because there's not a whole lot of gap. So we could then say go negative curve times 3 or something. And that looks pretty good. That gives us some gap on the front and some gap on the back. And there's our propeller in its position there. Now with that one, so I don't know why it's not letting me get, oh, this is showing the bit. This is cool. All right, stop that. But this one right here that we just did, we want to change that that relationship because it's a rigid. We actually want to configure. I want to change that and make it a Revolute. So So that way I can rotate that. Instead of it being fixed, it should be able to rotate. Um, so again, I can go back in time if I want to, and then I'm going to redo that. So when I do my joint this time, so again, I can pick this face back here, hold down Control, lets me select the middle of that, and there's the middle of this. We said that we're going to go this way by negative curve times 3. And then right here in motion, we're going to make this a revolute so it can spin. And say OK. And now this allows me to spin this propeller, which is pretty cool. And then I'm going to do one more. Put that other piece on here. The fun one we just made, this front sport. Insert this into the current design. This one's going to be a little different because, again, we don't have, there's no like circle to attach it to this. It's going to fit right on these 4. And there's really nothing there. So with this one, I'm going to attach it to this guy and then add my offset. So watch how I do this. I'm going to do a joint. I'm going to pick this bottom face line right there, and then I'm going to say that it's going to be connected to this face, but it's not a revolute, it's a rigid. But then what do I need to create between those two parts? So I need to create a perf times 2 gap between them. And oh, you see that might cause an issue there, that part. So it looks like it's bumping into, it's going to be really close. I don't know if there's an interference or not there, but pretty close. And then again, I'm going to go to Appearance. I already have my glass, so I'm going to change that glass gray. I've got my black, make my propeller black. The blades, I'm going to make the prop itself black. And gray is this piece. So I can go in and change the colors of those items until I'm all done. And that's how we make our plane. Yeah, I think that's about it. Those are the things I know. Again, you can see that this moves, but pretty cool. We got the whole thing built. I think I'm going to make 2 more videos. One is the assembly of the real deal. So once I get all the parts printed, I'll make a video of that. And then the final video is I'm going to walk you through actually how we calculated the numbers. So it's all the math behind how did we get that Lego master file set up. I hope that helps. I'm excited to see what you create now that you know how to make giant Lego pieces and 3D print them and make it so that they fit together. So post your creations. Again, stop watching, start making. Build something great today. We'll see you next time.